This is episode 21, so if that's wrong, you can certainly blame the guy with the moped.
Oh, what a start.
He hasn't had a haircut. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing at incognito muggings.
No.
Because they're not funny, but I do find it very amusing that they've decided to leave your clothes. You've got a good-looking team, Dolan. I'd describe them all as housewives' favourites. Chester's got the body of an Adonis.
Can I believe it, man?
Good impression.
Yeah, not
well
bad. It got better as the impression
Yeah,
went
good
on.
that was.
Oh, hello, Marlon.
I said to Anne, should we leave this up on the fridge permanently? And she was like, no. But it's still there. Big Marlon's still on the fridge. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast with myself, Dan Bardell, and Tom Julian on my right, who assures me this is episode 27 of season 2 of the Villa View podcast. So if it isn't episode 27, you know who to blame.
We're off to a bad start, aren't we? But
Possibly.
I think we're off to a good start because I've done the research, done the hard lines, and all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of friction in the booth early doors because Tom has turned up at the time he's supposed to and then gone off to have a chat for about half an hour, which I wasn't very happy with.
Not half an hour, but did you set up anything in the meantime?
I did do a couple of the little jobs that need doing.
No.
I did a little...
The jobs that take literally 3 seconds.
But they were done. So your question was, did I do anything? Did I do everything? No. But did I do some things? Yes.
Well, Villa did some things at the weekend, didn't they?
Yeah.
But not everything, but some things.
They did what they needed to do in the main.
They got the win 2-1 against bottom of the table Ipswich.
Terrible segue in that was, by the way.
I quite liked it.
No, that will never catch up.
Yeah, right, let's talk about it. You were there. What did you think?
It's a funny game, really, because obviously I'm glad that we won.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to win. It'd been felt like a long time since we'd won. It was especially a long time since we'd won at home. So I'm happy to win. I was happy when we were 2-0 up. I think them scoring took a little bit of the shine off it for me because I know it's wrong to say this, but Ipswich are obviously not very good. The bottom of the league on 18 points. You could just tell they weren't a good side. So in some ways, I felt a bit mediocre that we would because we weren't hanging on, but just being that one goal up and just trying to see the game out. But then we did have some chances after that. I'm happy we've won. There were some good performances in there. We'd have to step it up against a better side. But at the end of the day, if you'd have offered me 2-1 before the game, I'd have definitely taken it.
Do you think it's one of those where, and this might infuriate a couple of fans, you can only beat what's in front of you? So, well, no, actually, I'm going to completely wreck that straight away because you could have beaten Ipswich 5-0, essentially. Dean Smith said himself. It maybe could have and should have been 5.
I don't know whether you could say that. They certainly had spells in the game, and I think if you look at the stats, you look at the possession, I think they came here and got 55%. Like, didn't come here to this booth. They came to Villa Park and got 55%. Possession had a couple of decent players. I thought Shalabar in midfield, the one from Watford's brother, was quite a decent player. Trevor, good knowledge. I thought he was quite decent, but they're bottom for a reason, aren't they? But then we were bang out of form going into the game. Worries me a little bit that, okay, yeah, we've scored 2 goals, but one was a set piece and one was a penalty, so it's not like we've broken them down from open play.
So 2 were set pieces.
Yeah, so I find that's a little concerning that we've not like cut them apart at any point. But then, as I say, we did have some chances. Tammy probably should have had a hat-trick.
Yeah, I would think so.
At the end, there was other moments, so I'm happy enough, but the proof is in the pudding now of the next few games because we need to keep winning. One win isn't enough.
Well, it was a delicious Conor Hourihane delivery for Tammy Abraham's first. He connected really well, but quite a simple goal. You can
it's a good finish. It's a good ball in.
You can see in that moment though why Ipswich are bottom because they'd switched off, and it doesn't take much for Tammy Abraham to take advantage of those situations. Lovely ball, as you say, right into the danger area.
That's what he does, mate.
And Abraham just needs to knock it in.
Yeah, it's a bit similar to the Millwall goal that he scored away at Millwall. It's still a good finish. He's created the space for himself and got there, but you're right, he was quite free, wasn't he? I don't think Paul Lambert will look back on either goal with complete with any fondness.
No.
At all, to be fair. So it's just nice to see him keep scoring. 19 is it 19. Now? That's a great record at this stage of the season when you consider when he actually arrived at the football club as well. So it's a great return, and if we're going to go up, we're going to need him to push somewhere near 30.
Yeah, well, John McGinn had a couple of chances himself and then created the penalty. One of the softest penalties I think I've seen, to be honest. I didn't think there was anything in it. You?
Well, when I saw it live, I was actually watching McGinn because he was lurking on the edge of the area.
It was up the other end to you, right?
No, it was at the whole end. So he was on the edge of the box when the corner was about to be taken.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, just as he's about to be taken, he sprinted in the box. And when I was in the whole end, it looked like the guy had him round the neck and hauled him down. And I said to my dad, that is 100% a penalty. Immediately, I said...
Your dad went for the penalty?
I said that, my dad, he didn't. He was cautious this week. He wasn't sure whether a goal kick had been given or whether it was a penalty, so he didn't celebrate too much.
Yeah.
But I thought straight away, my initial reaction was, that is a 100% a penalty. I watched it back on the TV, and it did look soft on the TV, but I can only go by what I saw live, and I thought, yeah, that's a pen.
Well, so can the referee, and he gave it. And to me, I mean, I only watched it on the telly, and I didn't think it was a penalty at all. But sometimes you get them, sometimes they're given against you, so you take it where you can. No mistake from Tammy Abraham. 2-0 up.
He's a composed penalty taker.
Very composed, yeah. Does he wait? Do you think he just waits for the keeper to make the first move?
He appears to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to go back and watch every penalty he's taken, but I'm pretty sure they've gone the wrong way every time. Someone who's nerdier than me will correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
In the comments.
Yeah, well, I guess there's a point, isn't there? If the goalkeeper's playing chicken as well, somebody's got to give, and I guess the striker has to.
I mean, he hasn't missed one yet.
No, so 19 goals for Tammy Abraham. Like you say, he's going to break 20 and hopefully get close to 30 with this current record. I thought Villa looked fairly confident up until the Freddie Sears goal, which, by the way, was an absolute peach. I saw a couple of people blaming Hurahan because he didn't move towards the right man or the right ball. For me, he followed the man. He kind of went to go towards the ball, did what he should have done, and that's an absolutely fantastic strike from Freddie Sears. What are you going to do? Why do you have to blame someone for that?
I'm going to be honest. Kind of could walk up to the street to some Villa fans at the moment and say, "Here you are, do you want £1 million?" And they'd go, "No, I don't want that from you.
You're horrible.
He can't do anything. He can't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong." Someone posted the still images. And from the still images, he probably possibly made it look like it was his fault. But if you watch it back, you're at the game, he just cut the line like you're supposed to do as a midfield player.
Also, Freddie Sears turns and shoots so quickly that actually breaking it down into still images just doesn't tell the story of how you actually play football. It just doesn't work like that sometimes.
No.
In that instant, you have to make a decision, and the way Freddie Sears took his goal was superb and perfect. And really, if you could have put any midfield, you could have put N'Golo Kante in there, and he wouldn't have made the right decision.
The other problem is, if McGinn had done that, exactly the same thing that Connor did, no one would even, those stills wouldn't have even been taken. Yeah, that wouldn't have even been a story on Villa Twitter.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is at the moment. My initial reaction to the goal was, at the time at Villa Park was, I thought the keeper could have done better, but again, I've watched it back and thought, was I actually watching at Villa Park? Because that's two things now. I'm not sure. But I felt like at the time he got two big hands on it. But I mean, what do you think?
Again, no, I don't think Kalinic...
At that time, I was being ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think Kalinic had a chance, and like I say, it was an excellent finish from Freddie Sears.
It kind of came from nowhere, didn't it? Bit of an off-the-cuff turn, bang goal.
I feel like Freddie Sears has been around forever. I remember when he broke into the West Ham team.
I'm imagining he's younger than me.
I don't know.
I bet he is.
He broke into the West Ham team, feels like a long time ago.
He came in young at 16, 17.
He did, yeah. But then kind of...
Have a quick Google?
Yeah, sure. He never really made it, and obviously he's playing the Championship, so that's pretty good, better than I've made it.
I mean, I think he might be captain as well.
But
she's having a good season, having
captain
a decent
of a
season.
sinking ship. It's
I mean, yeah, they are. He's 29, so he's younger than me.
Same age as me.
Same age as you.
Yeah.
More successful.
No doubt about that. So then it gets a little bit nervy. I thought there was a couple of balls. I didn't think James Chester looked fit.
Hey, he's injured. Well, he's not fit. Being injured and playing on the left-hand side of centre-back is doing him absolutely no favours whatsoever. He keeps getting caught on the ball. I mean, I said a few weeks ago, when Dean Smith said after the Wigan game, I moved him to the right and brought Courtney Hawes on because he was always on his wrong foot. Why are we continuing to do that? Play Elphick on the left if we must. I mean, he's got as less of a left foot as Chester has. I'm going to imagine. Just if he's injured and he's playing through the pain barrier anyway, give the guy a chance.
Yeah,
I just find it bizarre. I mean, I'm imagining we're going to bring a centre back in and eventually Chester will get a rest.
Yeah,
because he's not doing him any favours.
Do you think that's the plan? We'll talk about transfers in depth in a little bit, but do you think that the plan is to take out Chester completely, or do you think he's one of these kind of players that Smith feels like he can't take out? Obviously, I guess if he brings in an experienced centre half, then maybe he can. But right now, he obviously can't.
The problem I have with it is he's injured. I mean, I love James Chester. I mean, Ian Taylor took the mick out of me and the video we did the other day for how much I love James Chester. So I obviously would want to see him in the team every week because I think he's a very, very good defender and he's been an excellent signing for Villa. But I think playing injured is no good, and that is essentially what he's doing at the moment. I think if he was still playing with this injury and we were keeping clean sheets and we were looking pretty solid at the back, I could understand it. It's almost as if at the moment, because I feel like he's not playing to his maximum ability because of the injury, if you take him out, I don't feel like it's going to make it any worse at the back. It's a bit like when people said Elphick coming back will sort us out. That'll give us another proper defensive option. But realistically, I like Tommy Elphick, but we're no better at the back than when James Brewer was playing there, really, are we? So it's a funny one at centre back at the moment. I think it needs what I would call a proper defender to come in there, big, ugly defender.
Yeah, I guess if you take out Chester now and you put in Hawes and Elphick, then you're lacking a leader across the back.
No, but Elphick is a leader. He was brought in to be captain when we signed him a couple of years ago, wasn't he?
I suppose.
Captain of Bournemouth. He's probably been captain most teams he's played at.
Do you think he would feel more confident being, I guess, assuming that responsibility to put it on the other foot?
I don't know. I've always felt like since Elphick's been at Villa, when he first came in his first few games, he was like really vocal, real presence about him, I felt, and then he lost his place in the team to Nathan Baker and never really got back in. And then every time he's come back in, I've almost felt like he doesn't feel part of it because he probably knows that he's not ever going to be first choice. I always feel like you've never quite seen his whole personality at Villa. That's how I feel about it.
Is he out of contract?
Yeah, he probably won't be here next season.
Yeah.
It's a funny one. There's a lot of players out of contract in the summer.
Awful lot of
It's possibly
players.
affecting us a little bit at the moment. Because obviously you're going to be playing people who aren't going to be here next season. I've got to say, I thought Whelan had a really good game on Saturday, but he probably won't be here next year. But he's someone who I don't think it affects. He just gets on with it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's no frills.
Yeah.
Glenn Whelan, he'll continue to just do what he's always done his whole career. I get people don't like him. He put in a good performance on Saturday.
What was it about Glenn Whelan that made him play so well?
He just does this. He doesn't try anything fancy. He does what he should do, and I think we changed formation. So McGinn was actually playing as a 10. Was playing really close to Tammy, and he had a lot of the ball. McGinn had a lot of shots. I wouldn't say he had any great chances, but he got a lot of shots away in decent positions. So then Connor and Whelan, it kind of, when you've got one playing as the anchor man, there's the possibility you can get overrun in midfield on the counter-attack, but because they were both sitting deep and McGinn was playing so far forward with the wingers pushed up, it was just a bit more of a security blanket.
Isn't that worrying that we need a security blanket when we're playing bottom of the league Ipswich? Like, how does that formation, how does that work if you were to play Whelan, Horan and McGinn further forward against a higher ranked team like, I don't know, like Leeds or West Brom or someone like that? Do you think it would still be effective?
I mean, Connor would still pick his moments to come forward, and there's moments when Whelan did as well. I think he needed to change something because the midfield wasn't working.
But I guess my point is, we're at home against bottom of the league. Do we need a security blanket in that moment?
I mean, the answer is we won the game, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess it goes back to saying you can only beat what's in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to ascertain.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
But then I'd imagine now a tougher game away at Reading. A game I think we should go there and win, really. I think that with most games. I don't think that we will. But I think we should.
Yeah.
But now it maybe gets them in that they've played that system last week. It's familiarity more than anything. So practice it against an easier team, and you're more likely to be better at it the next week, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, it does make sense.
If ever there's a time to experiment with something different, it's probably when you're playing the bottom team at home.
Yeah, it's true. What did you make of our wingers this week?
When you asked me that question, I was racking my brains for the two that were on the wing. To be honest, that probably tells you what you need to know. All right. As I said last week, I'd pick a Doma every week on the wing at the moment, just because you know he's going to do the dirty work. Because I just feel like there's inconsistency. Whoever plays on the wing, I feel like he's an inconsistent player at the moment. Coming in, no one's on top form.
Yeah.
I really thought Ghazi was going to be a world beater. After that West Brom game, Middlesbrough game away, I thought, this guy is a player. He was working hard, he can play. But I feel like he's gone into his shell.
I like El Ghazi.
No, I do
I've
too.
said it before. I really
He's gone
hope
into his shell, though.
I don't disagree. We've also
Missed my mouth then, with my can.
I've shocked you so much with my El Ghazi love. I feel like wingers particularly go through phases. We saw it with Ashley Young. You see it with great wingers all the time. They have 5 or 6 brilliant games and then they're quiet for a couple of games. Snodgrass was the same. You know, it happens with wingers. They're such confidence players, and I think if there's a knock on swapping the team so much, that wingers need to be playing. It's a bit like strikers. They need to get into a run of form, and we're swapping out all of our attacking players quite a lot.
At the moment, they'd be the 2 I'd pick, El Ghazi and Adoma.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather see El Ghazi play. I mean, again, this tells you everything you need to know. I can't remember who played what side. Trying to wrap my brain.
El Ghazi was definitely on the left for a period.
I think he started on the left. El Ghazi, but usually he's on the right, whereas I think he'd be better served. But he just, when he went off, I remember him coming off for Jedinak. I just thought, didn't see enough of him today. Didn't see what I was thinking I might see. First half, he had a few bright moments, but again, it's against a team like Ipswich. You think, oh, come and have a go at these. They're not very good, and I didn't get that vibe.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair as well. Ipswich is a team, with all due respect, but they are bottom of the league, and that's the team that you should be. They're coming to you. We should be tearing these guys apart.
It's a journeyman side. You've got their side up here.
Yeah,
that is a journeyman side.
Yeah, it's tough. And I talked to you off air. Bielkowski in goal was spilling everything under the sun, and Tammy Abraham could have profited a couple of times. Like you say, should have had his hat-trick probably. Couple of efforts that he kind of passed to Bielkowski in the end, and just we couldn't kill them off.
James Collins was kind of always in the right place.
Yeah.
For that, when the keeper did spill it, I feel like Collins was always in the place he should be.
Yeah, it just seemed very. I'm not surprised that Ipswich are bottom. Not having seen any of the rest of their games, but I'm not surprised that they're at the bottom the way they defended at times.
I mean, I said about needing a big ugly centre half.
James Collins, your man.
And he's not a player that I've ever particularly rated.
Yeah.
James Collins, I've always found him a bit rash.
Yeah.
But he does come there and gives everything and heads the ball, throw himself at everything. That is kind of what we need at the moment, I think. Yeah. I mean, he thinks he's a ball-playing defender. He used to ping some balls into the Trinity. Let me tell you. Picked out that guy sitting in row J of the Trinity nearly every week. I think that was what annoyed me with him the most when he was at Villa.
Just wasting the ball.
Just thought he was Franz Beckenbauer.
Yeah.
He just tried to ping the ball around. It would never go to anyone. That used to annoy me.
I like their substitute. His name is Gherkin.
You know what? I looked at that and thought, I bet Tom's got something to say about that.
Yeah, well, there you go. I
thought that guy, the striker that came on for them, was good. Kwana. I don't know who he is, but I thought he caused us some problems when he came on. He was quite quick, big.
Is he number 45?
Yeah, I thought he came on. They were better when he came on.
There was a ball over the top, and it looked like it had caused Chester and Elphick a couple of difficulties.
Not dealing with balls over the top still.
He takes it, I think it's Kwana, takes it past Kalinic, and it's blocked kind of close to the line.
Got back.
It was Elphick, yeah, you're right. And then
they tried to claim handball.
Yeah, that was.
Was it not?
Oh, no, I don't think. He just slid. I don't think Elphick's arm was out here or anything like that.
And Paul Lambert was talking in the post-match like they've been really hard done by.
Well, I think they had been hard done by the McGinn penalty.
But all I can say is when I watched it live, I thought it was a certainty, and it was right in front of me.
But the referee was even closer than you. McGinn runs past the ref essentially, and the ref's there, so he gives it. But to me, it looks very, very.
I mean, in general, if the referee's made a decision one way in the Championship, it's probably the other. In general,
you're always so harsh on our poor referees.
I know.
Oh, my mum never found my refereeing book, by the way.
No, you should probably explain that your mum was looking for it.
Oh, did we not talk about this on the podcast?
I mean, you weren't here last week, so no.
I thought it was the week before.
No.
It must have been at Hull then we were talking about it. I was going to try and find my refereeing manual. Yeah. But Hannah, my mum's giving it away.
So I just had a memory from that whole game. Obviously, Tom cried wolf last week. Was sick.
I was so ill.
Genuine sickness. No, not like Dolan. No. It was a genuine.
I was
fully blown,
shivering
illness.
and then sweating. It was grim. I had to change the sheets many a time.
Too much information there, Tom. None of us needed to know that. I didn't need to know it. However many people are listening definitely didn't need to know.
Sorry, you were about to make a point.
But yeah, your friend, obviously, he's famous, who came and sat with us.
Big Jeff.
Right on, Rambo.
Jeff Rambo, my Sky Sports NFL.
My dad's had a stinker the last couple of weeks, but there's a man sat next to my dad going, is that the NFL guy from Sky? And my dad was sat there going, Yeah, it's Tom Julian. it's Tom Julian.
Yeah.
Like he was asking about you, although you did have you had a few good moments, didn't you? Usually people come up to me when we're at the football.
You weren't very happy
yeah,
at all, were
and
you?
and you get a bit ignored. It was the other way around at Villa Park. Maybe it was the novelty of you being there.
Well,
That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, thanks, mate.
No worries.
Yeah, there's a couple of times where it's like, I've got to shake your hand, and Dan kind of bristles. He's ready to shake your hand, and they just knock past Dan. And it's like
no arms across the chest.
Tom
like you've
Julian.
Just done there.
It's absolutely a pleasure to meet you.
What's the Tom Julian show? Well, to be fair, wasn't it?
You know, it was nice to speak to Andy, K2 Villa, who's asked the question. We'll get to that as well.
What I didn't like about that was he messaged me saying great to meet you, and I've met him before, so he obviously didn't remember that.
It was a bad day for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, good meeting.
Yeah. Apart from Hourihan and Whelan, was there anyone else that stood out for you in the Ipswich game?
I mean, obviously Tammy's probably going to walk away with man of the match because he scored 2.
Yeah.
No, not really. I'd like to sit here and wax lyrical about everyone, but I mean, people say, oh, you always rave about Hourihan, but someone posted his stats from that game, and again, if McGinn had got these stats, and I like McGinn, this isn't me digging McGinn, it's just showing the difference, then people would be all over them.
Do you think
Tom Parker posted? I'm trying to find them now. Keep talking, I'll find the stats.
Oh, sure. All right. Mike Pacina, what was your thought on the penalty decision? Kind of went through that. Dan Stratford, thoughts on Chester playing through the pain barrier. He looked so uncomfortable on the ball on Saturday. If we get someone in, we surely need to rest him for a bit. Absolutely right. I think we're all in agreement there that James Chester is essentially exhausted right now. How are you getting on?
He was not very well. he was uncomfortable though, Chester. And since he's been playing with this injury, balls over the top have caused us problems. Strikers seem to get in easily off balls that I look at and don't think they should be difficult to deal with. So is it his knee? He's maybe just not as mobile as he wants to be at the moment, and things that wouldn't usually cause him problems. Causing him problems.
Tom Parker's veracity of tweeting is really causing you some issues here.
Yeah, I think I've got it. I think I've got there. Right, so he's got more touches than any other player, 72. More passes than any other player, 63. Highest pass accuracy, 94%. 5 key passes, which is 5 key passes is good in any game of football. 3 shots. He's playing deep line midfielder. What more do people want? Yeah. He also put a great ball in that Tammy nearly scored off at the end, where Tammy should have sailed his hat trick. Made the goal with a set piece. Yeah. People say, well, he's only in the team for his set pieces. We score goals off those set pieces.
That's a lot of our goals.
Yeah. Tammy, how many Tammy's goals would have been off kind of set pieces?
Who would you play instead right now?
That's the other thing.
Yeah, because there isn't an option. To me, I don't think Bjarnason. I feel like Bjarnason, there was a point in Bjarnason's Villa career where I had to apologise because I was like, right, he's turned into a player. To me, he's turned back into that pumpkin that he was when he first arrived. You know,
pumpkin?
He's not
Is
been...
that a technical term?
Yeah, well,
what does that mean?
Cinderella story, isn't it?
He's not... He's a good-looking lad. He can never be called a pumpkin. He's full-on Cinderella.
It's not about his aesthetics.
He's full-on Cinderella.
Cinderella,
thank you.
Very nice. It's about his footballing ability right now, and he's not done it for Villa, certainly this season. I know injuries have played a part, but to go back to the point, who do you play instead of Hourihan? Because he's doing the business. He's setting up goals. He's scoring goals. He's making these key passes, and he's an assists king.
Just the latest scapegoat. There's something about that position, I tell you. I've said it before on a podcast. Westwood used to get pelters. Westwood was a good player. Westwood's playing the Premier League at the end of the day. He's the Burnley's best player at the moment. I've seen that all over.
I saw a few people saying
Bannon.
Idrissa Gana Gay is like, why did we let him go so early? I remember Gay got absolute pelters at Villa as well, and now everyone's like, oh yeah, but PSG want him. Yeah, but we didn't treat him right.
He was a good player. You could see he was a good player. He was just in a failing team.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to play. Didn't have a system.
Lots of fans didn't have the time for him.
No, I think it's the way it is. I'm not saying I sit here and get absolutely everything right. I mean, obviously, my opinion on Hourihan's as valid as someone who says he's rubbish. But I just think when someone's posting the statistics like that, you can't say he did nothing in the game.
Lob had an interesting question to move on from Hourihan, because lots of people don't rate him and whatever. That's the opinion. Lob, why can't we take a good throw-in? Did you notice this on...
It's been a recurring theme for a long time, ever since I've gone down to Villa Park.
What's up with that?
I don't know, mate.
Do you know what? I went through a stage at the end of my footballing career because I
It's bad that you're not even 30 and you're talking about the end of your football career.
I know, I just ran out of time. Work got too busy. I got to the point where I was turning up to football and I was really not looking forward to it because I knew that I wasn't good enough for the team that I was playing in. The team was quite good.
You still come to a podcast every week.
No, it's unfair. It's unfair and unnecessary. And I don't come every week. Didn't even bother last week.
That's true.
And I turned up and I was like, I really don't want to be here. And it got to the point where I couldn't even throw the ball in because I was like...
What's the relevance of this story? Are you talking about not being able to throw-ins, or is it more to do with the psychological aspect?
It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
So for someone like potentially Neil Taylor, who feels like he's on edge all of the time, whether just he's over-analysing everything, that was kind of the point I was getting to, or whether it's actually... because you can't get to be a high-level footballer, an international, and not be able to throw the ball in, surely, as a fullback.
It's not necessarily to do with the thrower. It's to do with whether other people are placing themselves from throw-ins. Sometimes everyone just stands there, and I think, who are Hutton and Taylor supposed to throw the ball to here? My coat's causing me big problems.
Is it? Yeah. Lot of gas.
Drank it too quickly. Lesson to be learned there. Don't come on air to try and record something when you've just downed a 330 milliliter can of Coke.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah,
That was your
no
point.
one to actually throw to half
Yeah.
the time. There's no movement. You think it might be something that's worked on in training. Like, does it get worked on in training? Is there more important things to work on?
One little story again from the Hull game. I took Jeff Reinbold, who's an NFL coach essentially, and he absolutely loved the set pieces. So free kicks and stuff, all great. Throw-ons, absolutely loved it. And he was just...
Throw-ons, not throw-ins. Throw-ons.
Throw
Is that what you do?
Throw-ins?
Throw-ins, mate.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Whatever. He would... And so, Tommy, what's going on here?
You call you Tommy?
Oh, yeah, he loves
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. What's going on here? How's this going to work? And all this kind of stuff. And he absolutely loved
You
the...
should just be like, just ignore the throw-ins, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. He obviously was impressed with our throw-ins, but he had nothing to compare it to.
No.
So to answer your
I'm
question,
trying to
Rob,
think of the NFL equivalent. Like, is there one? I can't even remember.
not of a not of a throw-in.
No. I liked it when someone said to Jeff, geez, you must have been desperate for something to do. I felt like that was more not about coming to the Villa, but hanging around with you.
Yeah. What? You've come at me today.
Sorry. You came at me off camera. Before we started, you came at me.
I don't like this at all.
well.
The sequins number.
Changes, look, it's
I don't know if you
versatile.
can see that.
The
That's-
people who are listening won't be able to see it.
It's so weird. Like,
yeah,
why is
from
it on a
America,
jumper?
mate. I just like it. It was different.
Sure.
You know me. I'm different.
Anything else you want to talk about from the Ipswich game?
No.
No?
No.
All right, should we have a quick look at the table? So Villa... Oh, where are we? Here we are.
Struggling with that big old Dell, aren't you?
My printer's on the fritz. So Villa...
To get that phrase. You were so pleased with that word Fritz off camera that you thought you'd work it into the podcast.
It's a good phrase. On the fritz, isn't it? Villa 10th, 42 points, 4 points off Derby in 6th right now.
Game in hand, no Derby.
Yeah, true. Jack Luckhurst asks, do you still think Villa can get playoff?
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be hard, though. As I said last week with Dolan, I can't see any of those top 6 dropping out. I know one always does. And hopefully it's Middlesbrough, because I don't like Tony Pulis. But I don't know. Do you think? I look at those sides and I think, yeah, I can see them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just think Are Forest going to go on a run as well? They're on the same points as us. That would be typical of my life. Martin O'Neill taking a team up.
Yeah, Blackburn had 4 wins on the bounce.
I called Blackburn at the start of the season when we did predictions. I said they're dark horses. I reckon they'll do all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bristol City again in form, but we've seen them fall off before. They're in
a roller
7th.
coaster side, Bristol City. Well, there or down there. There's no in between with them.
Is that a fun way to be a fan, do you think?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the Bristol City fans.
Yeah.
Ask Aston, he lives near there.
Would you prefer to be fighting relegation one season and then promotion, or would you be 12th in the Championship?
Ideally, I wouldn't be in the Championship at all. I'd just be riding high in the Premier League.
No, but if you could ask the question that I've asked.
I mean, I feel like you put about 4 different iterations in there, and I'm not sure how to answer it.
Would you rather be a team that bounces, like competing for the Championship title and playoffs one season, but then fighting a relegation battle the next season? So maybe a team without a budget, but a manager's done wonders.
Or you just finish mid-table all the time?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the danger of being relegated to League One.
It's a really weird question.
It is a bit of a weird question. The more I said it, the worse it got.
You were in too deep, though. You had to continue with it. And there was a point where I could tell by your face you realised that you'd come too far there.
The good thing about having a co-host is that they'll always bail you out in those situations, except if it's you, and then you're just...
If you're talking absolute gibberish, there's nothing I can do
But
about
you know
that.
when you're searching for your...
You're still coming back now.
When you're searching for your Twitter bits and pieces, and because you haven't prepared.
Yeah, but I'm not talking
and
gibberish at this
I will
point.
just continue to hold the thing together. That's what a team does.
You
generally.
think you're holding it together, but are you necessarily
I
holding
could
it
just
together?
sit there in silence and it'd be horrible. It'd be really
it wouldn't be good.
uncomfortable.
Wouldn't be good. Yeah, but then it wouldn't be good viewer or listener experience, and none of us want that.
No.
We pride ourselves on being entertaining.
Well, that's true. So Villa 4 points off the playoffs currently, but a lot of good teams above them.
A lot of teams with game in hands.
A lot of football still to be played. Hull City lost this weekend, so they kind of fall off. After that great run, then they draw with Villa, and now they've fallen off.
Yeah.
So
if Swansea are up around us, and I've never felt like they've been anywhere near it for ages. The same with Bristol City, just rising up. Like, where have you been all season? What are you doing up there? It's weird.
4 wins on the bounce.
Yeah, and that's what we need. That's where we need to be going now.
Yeah.
Wins. I mean, me going to an away game on Saturday doesn't fill me with any confidence at all. But abhorrent record in general.
Yeah, I don't like Reading at all. I think it's hard to get
you're
to.
putting a downer on it as well. Although it's not that hard to get to because
Definitely is on the train.
Me and Dolan have booked our train tickets.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, it's easy.
The last time
Boom.
The last time I went, there was loads of train issues. So
Midweek. It should be more calm on a Saturday.
Plus, you get to Reading and then you have to take a bus out there. It's just
I mean,
No, I went midweek. That's when I went.
Yeah, well, I'm going Saturday, so I'm saying it should be
sorry.
easier.
Right,
Your history with trains isn't great, whereas I feel going with Dolan, he's a more astute trainsman.
Do you think?
Yeah, I just get that impression. When he comes to podcast, he's here when he says he's going to be here. With you, he's like, oh, I'm on the wrong platform. I've got on the wrong train. I've had to jump in an Uber. It's like there's all these different things with you. Admittedly, you're here more than Dolan. When Dolan's here, it's just, yeah, cool. I'll be like, cool, I'll be here at that time. Bang, he's there.
I mean,
He's demanding in the cafeteria, but...
Yeah, and to see your notes as well.
Yeah, he doesn't get that novelty.
Well, yeah, okay, all right. I'm going to take it, but I don't think I deserve it. Let's just go back to what
You've got better as the podcast progressed, I'll give you that.
I haven't been late for ages. I don't think I've been late this season.
But you're on time tonight, and then you go off on your jollies for half an hour.
You are very aggressive
It's no
today.
good to anyone. I'm just... No, I'm not
I think you've
aggressive.
had a bad gym class.
I'm knackered from the gym class, if I'm being honest.
A bit grouchy.
It's a hard session, mate.
Dean
Just try
Smith, we could have won 5-0, that's what I said earlier, and it would have been nice to have kept a clean sheet as we can see too many goals, particularly at home, but it didn't matter as it was about getting a home win, which we thoroughly deserved. First home win since Birmingham.
I know.
Which is not good enough.
Many moons ago.
Yeah.
It isn't good enough.
John McGinn said that he thought that we'd turned a corner. Do you think that's just kind of player speak at the end of an interview, or do you think we actually have turned a corner?
We'll
wait and
the
see.
pudding on Saturday. I mean, I thought when we were 2-0 down at Hull and we got back to 2-2, I thought, right, 25 minutes left here, 3-2, we'll win this. That'll turn the season. I feel like it needs to be something a bit bigger than Saturday to turn the season, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't... It was comfortable, but it just wasn't... I wasn't convinced by it. I'd like to be. I still think everything's going to take a long time.
Greg Evans said in the Birmingham Mail that he thought we were close to hammering a team. You know how you get to the point where even if the results are coming, you can see that something is coming. I don't feel like we're at that point just
I feel like we've done that. Hammered Middlesbrough and hammered Derby away. I feel like we did that. We were at that point where we were blowing teams away.
Yeah.
And then we've kind of regressed.
The honeymoon period
Because if you
died.
because if you look at the way we're playing, and there's like a barometer of is it closer to where we were when we were playing really well under Smith, or is it closer to where we were when Steve Bruce was here? I'd say it's closer to where we were when Steve Bruce was
I
here.
would totally agree. Yeah.
So I don't think we are that close to blowing a team away. If I'm being honest, I'd love to see us do it. But I don't think we're there. And I think if you ask the players and the manager, I think they'd say the same thing.
Yeah. Should we talk a little transfer news?
Yeah, it's coming up to deadline now. Is it? When is it? Thursday.
Thursday at 11 p.m. So there's been a couple of confirmed outs. Callum O'Hare has joined Carlisle on loan, and it looks as though Scott Hogan has also joined Sheffield United on loan. Let's talk about them both. Callum O'Hare, obviously a young, hot prospect. Villa fans have kind of wanted to see O'Hare in the mix for a long, long time. He's only played, I think, 55 minutes this season or something like that in the league anyway. he goes out on loan. He's out of contract at the end of the year. Is there a danger that he doesn't come back?
A little bit. I mean, I think because he probably knows we've got a manager who does give youth a chance, and I think when it comes to pre-season next season, youth will be integrated heavily.
Right.
I think he probably will. And you never know, there might be an option that we don't know about. The Villa can say, oh, we extend it by a year here. That's quite frequent. Mm-hmm. At that age, there is a worry about it, because I think when Callum Robinson came back from loan spells, I think Villa were expecting him to sign a new contract and be part of our Championship squad. And then he just left because he had never had a chance, which was a shame, because I think he would have made it here. Callum Robinson, he's a player I really, really like. I still like him now when I watch him play for Ireland, when I've seen him play for Preston. He's injured at the moment, but he's a good player, Callum Robinson, so I'd be a little bit concerned by that, because if he goes to Carlisle and does well, some of the team around us in the same league as us might come to him and say, we're going to make you our number 10. Come and play for us. A Brentford maybe, like you could see him playing somewhere like that, couldn't you? So it's a little bit of a worry. I think the loan, and this is not down to anyone who's here at the moment, because they weren't here last season, but I feel like it's a season too late. He should have been on loan last season. Really, but I've stated the rules on loans, I just don't get them. They're stupid. They don't do anything to help youth players progress, because people end up staying as a contingency and then they don't get used. But you can't, in some ways, you can't blame the club, because they might need them. Yeah. It's difficult.
What about Scott Hogan then? Joins Sheffield United. Had a troubled time at Villa. Was an expensive signing and just never really got going, apart from a little spell last year. Now joins Sheffield United. It has potential again to help Sheffield United secure a playoff place in place of Villa.
I mean, he's obviously not going to be used, because if he was going to be used by anyone, it would be Dean Smith.
Yeah. And
he hasn't been so far. So it makes sense from that perspective. I kind of don't like the fact he's gone to someone who's gunning for promotion, because it kind of like he's strengthening someone who should be a rival. It almost feels a little bit like we're saying, well, we're not going to be part of the playoff picture this season. Obviously, if we play Sheffield United, Scott Hogan can't play. But do you get what I mean? Like, I feel like it's some kind of... It's probably not, but a little bit inside of me feels like it's kind of an admission.
Well, the only thing I can think of is that they'll have to be paying a lot of his wages, and
he's on big money,
and he's the and Sheffield United was the only option in the end.
Bristol City was sniffing around.
And again, they're a playoff contender as well.
They were linked with him in the summer, Sheffield United.
But the only reason, and I agree to your point, giving him to a playoff rival is a bad move. But I guess if it gets him off the wage bill, like, I can't see Purslow doing this for like only removing 20 grand off the wage bill or something like that. You know,
Sheffield United, are they the kind of club that can pay 30, 40 grand a week for a player? I can't imagine their wage structure is that high.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm a bit annoyed, because I think he'll go there and do well. I think he will score goals for Sheffield United. I think the way they play will suit him. Pretty similar to when he was at Brentford. They've got a way of playing. They play with the three at the back. They've got the system. I mean, McGoldrick and Billy Sharp seem to score every week when I turn on the Championship highlights. They make a lot of chances, so I think he'll thrive on that a little bit. Although one of their better players, John Fleck's been linked elsewhere, so I don't know whether he's ended up going, but he's been linked with the Premier League move. He's a good player. I think he'll do well there, though. I think it's his kind of club. I'd also now say that we probably need a striker. But then who's going to come in and want to be backup? Because that's essentially what you'll be if you're a striker at Villa.
Do you think we need another striker? You've got Codger, obviously Tammy. You've got Keinan Davis, who will be hoping that he at least gets on the bench at this stage.
I just don't see that Codger's a viable option as a lone striker. I think we've tried it before and it hasn't worked. I just think he doesn't do the things that a lone striker should do. He's too much of a wild card, like an individual, to play as a lone striker. Keinan Davis, you see when he plays up front, quite selfless. He'll bring people into play, whereas Codger's more about getting on the ball, having a shot. I wouldn't want to see that for a sustained period. So we've weakened our squad by getting rid of Hogan. I know he hasn't played anything at the moment, but if Tammy gets injured, we're a bit light. Hepburn Murphy's gone as well. If Hepburn Murphy was still here, I'd say, OK, we're going to give him a chance. That makes sense. But he's gone. So in my eyes, it leaves us with Tammy and Keinan, because I think Codger's a wide player in the Dean Smith system.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. There's a couple of players linked with Villa, including Ben Gibson, defender from Burnley, Tyrone Mings as well, hasn't played as much as he would have liked since returning for injury for Bournemouth.
I think Mings will happen.
You think Mings will have more than Gibson?
I've been hearing things for too long about Tyrone Mings for it not to be true.
Yeah.
So I feel like that will happen.
Do you think there's a possibility of taking 2 centre-backs or just one?
Well, Mings is a left-back. I think he'd be.
Yes.
I know he can play centre-back, but I think he'd be coming in as a left-back if he came in. And injuries with him would worry me. He's had a lot of injuries since he joined Bournemouth. I mean, this guy was a hot prospect.
Yeah.
When he left Ipswich to join Bournemouth, when they got promoted, he was a player who you thought he's going to be an England player because he did very well at Ipswich in the Championship, but injuries have curtailed him completely. So injuries would worry me a little bit with him. If we're loaning a centre-back and a left-back, then if we're getting a striker, or a midfielder, we have to spend some money because there's not enough room. You can only play a certain amount of loan players in a matchday squad, can't you? So you're going to be running out of room for players. I know that we were going to spend money on Chris Meffam from Brentford, so the money's obviously there. But you're not really hearing any links like that, are you? Are Villa linked with 7 million plus centre-back or midfielder?
Nathaniel Chalobah's another one, isn't he? Another
I'm
loan.
surprised if I know he's not played much, but I'd be shocked if Watford let him go.
Yeah.
They're still in the FA Cup. They're riding pretty well in the league. He's a good player. He's the kind of player I'd like, but again, it's going to be a loan.
Yeah.
He's a deep lying midfielder. Good passing round Chalobah. He's a good player. Again, I thought his brother was good on Saturday. It just all feels a bit light and scattergun again, and I didn't think it was going to be like this.
Yeah, I totally know.
Kalinic in before the window opened. I thought, oh, we're on it. We're on this there. This isn't very Villa-like. And as the window's gone on, I'm starting to think, this is the Villa I know.
Do you think it's because the money's tight or players aren't?
Is the money tight?
Well, it must be.
The Meffam thing, I've heard from multiple good sources that we were getting him and we offered him more money than Bournemouth offered him.
Yeah, I read that.
And apparently we offered more transfer fee, but he wanted to go to Bournemouth.
Right.
He wanted to play under Eddie Howe. And to be fair, he wants to play in the Premier League, doesn't he?
Yep.
Everyone does. So there's money's there. The money is there to be spent. Obviously, the Balassi 70k a week's now gone. And we were probably banking, well, we would have been banking on paying that for the rest
Hogan
of the
money.
season. Hogan's wage. Now, though, in some respects, you obviously need to try and get a few people off the wage bill.
Yeah,
anyway,
you can't
to
just
bring
replace
people
that.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, you get someone like Hogan out on 40 grand a week and you get in a striker on 20 or something who can do as much as him. If you're clever, if you're savvy, that's what you try and do. I just don't know. I'm not hearing anything particularly concrete.
No.
So it's difficult. And usually I hear a couple of good things. I did last window anyway.
The ITK's gone all quiet.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Tough.
I mean, I could be going around and start spreading some false information, but what's the point?
What I'd like to see is more tweets, like cryptic tweets from you. That's
For me, that's not my game.
That's what the world needs, more cryptic tweets.
It's not my game.
Benjamin Minor, thoughts on Ben Gibson and Mings? I think they would both be top-class additions. Keep up the content.
But right in thinking Gibson went this summer to Burnley.
Yeah, he went last year from Borough for 12 mil. And it's only
So it was
played
at
once.
Borough last season?
Yes.
But that's a massive outlay for Burnley, that.
Yeah.
They're not going to just turn around and go, oh yeah, we'll write him off for the season.
Well, I think
it's a lot of money for them.
Yeah, I think there's an advantage though, isn't there, to loaning players because they get to keep their match fitness. You get to see a bit of what they're about. I think the stumbling block, as I understand it,
Loan review to permanent, wasn't it?
well, that I think is the stumbling block.
Burnley don't want that.
Dyche doesn't want to get rid of anybody and even leave it to chance, and Purslow doesn't want to do loans for the sake of loans.
No, but you get to the last minute like we are and you need players, you kind of have to abandon your principles a little bit because you need... I think we're desperate for a centre-back.
I don't want to hark back to it, but it makes it so interesting watching the Sunderland Until We Die thing because you can see how last minute it is, and you like Purslow must be on his phone now, probably as we're recording, trying to get this done.
Unless you're a Man City or Liverpool who don't really need anyone.
Yeah.
I imagine it's a bit like this everywhere at this stage. I feel like this January window has been a quiet one in general across the country.
Higuain's the big one, but
there's not been much, has there?
No.
There's not much going on. It just feels like it's been quite quiet. Maybe it'll ramp up in the next few... Well, it'll have to if it's going to ramp up in the next few days, but I just thought we'd have a bit more done by now. And obviously we've brought in Courtney Hawes, which I'm pleased with because I think he's a decent player with good pedigree and a good prospect, but he ain't ready to play.
No.
Otherwise he'd be playing now.
I was going to say that. We don't really know what Courtney Hawes is going to be yet.
No, but there's no point writing him off because he came on for
No,
I'm not saying you are,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we came on for 20 minutes of a drab performance anyway into a team that was struggling. Some people on social media will write him off immediately and he will never be good now. To them, he will be a good signing, but we need people that can come in and play and hit the ground running.
Villa Minimum says, still rumours that Cahill and Mings are on our radar. Are they really what we need? Sure, we've lost Bolassi's wages, but if we get these two in, then surely that's equal to Bolassi's wage. I'd much rather look at League One players that can be bought for cheap with potential. Do you agree?
But then, I get what he's saying, and to some extent I agree with it, but then sometimes when you see, again, social media is not a good barometer to go by, but when we link with players from League 1 and League 2, people aren't happy. Well, I know we need better than that. And then somebody obviously like Gary Cahill coming from Chelsea, people get excited by that. I just can't see that being a goer. Just what Smith said about age and getting the age of the squad down, and I imagine Gary Cahill would want huge money. He's been linked with Arsenal quite heavily, hasn't he? Gary Cahill as well. They've got injuries at the back. They need him. If it is him, it'll be last minute because he'll prefer to play in the Premier League.
For Arsenal, for sure.
I know we've got the John Terry influence, and they're good pals.
But you don't need to leave your house. It's nice and close. It's Premier League. It's top end of the Premier League.
I mean, it's if there's anything in it, isn't there? But if he gets to the last minute and he hasn't got to move, and he thinks, well, I haven't played all season, that's another thing. He hasn't played all season. So you'd imagine he's easier to throw in than Courtney Hawes, but he ain't played all year.
Well, he'd also know the John Terry way, wouldn't he? The way that John Terry wants to play the defensive side of the ball. We will
He's
see.
experienced, isn't he? Whereas Courtney Hawes isn't, I guess. So it's easier to throw a Cahill in than it is a Courtney Hawes.
Yeah, well, in time of recording, we've got about 48 hours left until the transfer window closes. So it'll be interesting to see. Remember last year, I think it was Sheffield United did that kind of Twitter video behind the scenes of their January transfer window.
They did in one of the windows.
That was really good. I'm hoping that we'll see some more stuff like that. I find it very fascinating, that kind of stuff.
Thanks.
I'm such a nerd, aren't I?
Not really.
No.
You're a football purist like me, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Villa have a new COO.
Yes.
Nicola Ibbotson. Know much about her?
Not really, no.
No. She worked at Chelsea with Christian Purslow, also worked at Manchester United when they did their 750 million Adidas deal. So she comes good pedigree, 3 years at Chelsea.
I don't know how old she is. She looks very young.
Yeah, she does. I've read a lot of stuff that she's a high flyer.
Trailblazer.
Up and coming, kind of thing. And she's everyone's making all the right noises that she's another kind of person that we want in chief operating officer that actually knows how to run a club properly. Obviously comes with the recommendation of Purslow, so that fits in with the current system.
I say it's who you know, not what you know. Obviously she's worked with Purslow before.
What she knows and who she knows.
Yeah.
Both things.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't meant like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Purslow knows how she works. He's been impressed by her.
Yeah.
She's coming in at Villa. That makes sense.
And I mean, Purslow's got such a pedigree himself. You'd think that if he's impressed by her, hopefully, that's a seal of approval.
Yeah, Luke Hogan kind of disappeared quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something to do with the Villa View. They're the only two people we interviewed, like from Villa last season, were Luke Hogan and Keith Winers. See ya.
Well, watch out. Who else?
Who wants to come in next?
Ian Taylor.
I guess if I was Tails, I'd be worried about that club ambassador role.
Dan Reynolds says, what do you think about the appointment? I mean, honestly, we don't know too much about her other than she comes in with good pedigree and hopefully she's the right fit for the club because it's good to clean house, essentially. Villa's been a mess for a long time. Obviously, Tony Jarr, I don't want to get into it again, but we were in a dire position, and now it looks like we're getting into the right framework again.
Yeah, all these people that are coming in sound astute and seem sensible appointments, which is what you want, really, a bit of sensibility. Yeah. But again, I keep saying this tonight, but the proof will be in the pudding. What stuff by the stuff she does. Yeah.
That is it. I mean, lots of people were happy with Dr. Tony while the going was good. So this is why we're trying to be. Oh, I'm certainly trying to be a bit more rigorous in looking at the state of the club beyond the pitch. A couple of other questions. Doughboy, could it be that Balassi was a disruptive influence in the dressing room? He seems sulky, inconsistent, and more than a bit overrated. I wonder if his prima donna attitude annoyed the rest of the team slightly. I don't know about that. When he first came in, he seemed to cause a bit of a spark that got the team playing a bit better. I think a revisionist history would have you look at the last few games that Bolasie played and say, well, he was terrible the whole time. He wasn't actually terrible the whole time, I didn't think.
He was really bad in that whole game.
He was really terrible then. But before then, he created a few chances, and it looked like he might be
assists,
the catalyst.
got some goals. Yeah. I'm going to say what Doughboy says is possible.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. Antosh, if the Villa View was a player, who would it be? He's then... he clarified later that he wanted a 90s footballer. I went with a current day footballer. I went with Conor Hourihane. I feel like the Villa View is appreciated by some, reviled by some, does a lot of the hard work, but sometimes not appreciated for what it does.
I thought someone asked us like which player would we all be? Is that in there as well?
Yeah, individually.
Because someone said Rollo was John McGinn.
Yeah, Steve Deacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went individually. I went with James Bree for myself.
Really? Just interesting choice.
Well, works hard, always kind of under the radar a little bit, but always there behind the scenes working
It's a
hard.
real bizarre pick from you. I'm not even sure the way you've justified it makes sense.
Just solid.
I'd say you're more like Micah Richards, like everyone sees you every day. What's he doing there?
Not earning enough to be Micah Richards.
No, that's true. I don't know who I'd be, really.
You said you had one.
I know, but then I was...
Who were you going to be?
It was going to be it was more of a joke. I was going to say that I was Jack Grealish.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There he is, the star.
The fans' favourite.
That's why Pat Tolley doesn't
fans'
like
favourite, local boy. That was
Poor hair.
That was harsh. I hope he doesn't listen to this, Tom. I mean, it's rich coming from the page boy. Am I right?
It's raining outside.
You had a hat on, to be fair. When you took it off, I did immediately think Tom was like a page boy this evening.
Page boy?
Yeah, just the swept across, very neat, no hair gel.
No.
Yeah, it's very...
That's because I love wearing a hat, so I can never really wear
very
hair gel.
page boy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right. One day I'll stop wearing hats.
I'm not having your James Bree. I think that's a bizarre choice.
Who else would you like? It's a weird question.
Maybe we should ask other people in the comments. Maybe they can pick. Who would Dolan be? Got a suggestion for Dolan?
Albert Adoma.
Why?
Dance is funny, bit cool.
Does Dolan dance? I've never seen Dolan dance.
I imagine he would dance like in a kind of cool way.
He'd have a shout for Grealish because he's basically his hair gets a lot of talk. A bit like Grealish's. Dolan's hair gets a lot of talk.
Lansbury?
Yeah. I did have someone for Dolan. I've completely forgotten who he is. He's a bit of a Glenn Whelan. Doesn't play every week.
Irish.
But when he comes in, he's quite consistent. Gives you what you need.
Sometimes gives
again,
the ball
some
away.
people like him, some people don't. Yeah, it drops the odd clang, and he swore.
Drops
drops the odd clanger.
Can be clumsy.
Yeah, but in general, a reliable backup. A bit like Marlon. You bring him in as the super sub.
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go. Always bring him on. If you had a 90s footballer for the Villa View, this is really putting you on the spot. I was trying to think. I would like to say Matt Letizia. The Villa View.
So we're not going for a Villa player here. We're going to pick a Southampton player.
No, just a 90s. I think it was just 90s classic.
I think he probably wanted. I'm imagining this is a Villa fan channel. He probably wanted it to be a Villa player, Tom.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you're picking a player that always scored against Villa.
Oh God, Matt Letizia is such a good player.
Yeah, no, but he always used to score against us. You could put your house on it every time we played and he'd score.
That's fine.
Yeah. I've killed you there. You're not happy with that, are you?
No.
Sorry.
Have you got one?
No.
All right.
I haven't got the notes in front of me. I thought you thought about this.
This only came in on my train journey, my correct train journey home. To here. Paul Ben Dixon, if Keinan Davis...
Brushing over that one then. We're not answering that one.
You don't have an answer?
No, I don't.
I've given you an answer. You rubbished it and then don't have an answer.
I didn't like it. It didn't sit well with me that you were picking a Southampton player.
All right.
Yeah?
The only Villa player I can really think of is like someone like George Boateng. Again, does the job, works hard, produces a lot, industrious.
More nice word.
With a little bit of class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have probably said Ian Taylor, but
Predictable.
Can't think what.
Jack Grealish and Ian Taylor. Come on, get out of the box, mate. Paul Ben Dixon, if Keinan Davis stays, could he be a solution in Jack's absence? It might require a change in formation, but Davis links the midfield and attack well. He's strong and okay with the ball. I think we saw glimpses of that in the cup game versus Swansea. We kind of talked about Davis a little bit. It's a potential, but more up front rather than Jack role.
Yeah, Cod just come on a couple of times recently and kind of played off the striker. I don't see that happening with Davis. I get what's being said, because he does do those things very well. I just think while Tammy is here, none of those players are going to... Codger can obviously play wide. You couldn't play Keinan wide.
Yeah.
Hogan. I just think they weren't going to play, or aren't going to play, while Tammy Abraham is fit. He scored 19 goals. He's doing very well, you wouldn't take him out, would you?
Yeah.
He's going to want to play every week as well. That's just the kind of character he is. It's going to be difficult to see Keinan get much football because Tammy doesn't even come off in games.
Yeah.
He's so good, you can't even really bring him off.
Yeah.
It's difficult for people who are forward players at the moment.
It's a nice problem to have, that one, for
I mean, I really wanted him in the summer. I said a number of times on the podcast how much I wanted Tammy Abraham, and then when I started to hear whispers that it might happen, I thought that sounds too good to be true because I really feel he'll score a lot of goals here. But his ratio has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Better than I thought it would be. I thought he'd score a lot of goals, but not like this.
Yeah.
He missed his chances as well. That's the thing.
He's going to surpass his Bristol City total, isn't he? That was 26, right?
25, 26, yeah.
So, it's great to have that kind of striker, and great for the Villa. Daniel James, even though Dean Smith has been at the club for only a few months, what can you say has been his best and worst squad decision until now? Watching the podcast from Rio, great stuff.
Squad decision? What do you think that means?
Like, I guess, tactical decision, like the triple sub, for example.
That wasn't a great decision.
I don't know.
It's difficult because we had such good spell where I thought everything he was doing was right.
Yeah, it's like...
It's not like I think he's done anything wrong now. It just hasn't been working.
You asked this question at the end of November, and it's like, well, bringing back Neil Taylor.
Yeah.
And there's loads of confidence there. But now you play Neil
Picking
Taylor.
the same back four and playing him into form. I thought that was good. I liked his decisiveness at the start. I did like that when he said, right, this is going to be my back four, this is my goalkeeper, because a few of them were coming under criticism. Neelan, for example, was getting pelters, but he just said, they're the five that are getting picked, that's that. And they did start to play into some form, and we did start to look better, so I thought that was a good decision. Then he hasn't been able to do that since in his defence, so that's maybe one of the reasons we've not been doing as well.
Yeah, it's hard to pick the worst tactical decision, because I don't think there's been anything that's been totally bad. I guess...
It's not like when Bruce was chucking on four strikers and it was just looking terrible and we just knew it wasn't going to work.
It feels like a very 90s English football thing to do, doesn't it? If you're not scoring, just put on more strikers.
I mean, I didn't watch it, but apparently, because obviously Agnew's in charge of Sheffield Wednesday at the moment, apparently that was what Sheffield Wednesday did at the Chelsea game.
Do you remember when Stuart Pearce was managing Man City, and instead of bringing on a striker, he brought on David James up front?
Ruffle some feathers up front.
That's bizarre, isn't
funny,
it?
the shirt was all made up and stuff, the home shirt with the one James on the back.
Just so stupid.
If you're a striker sat on the bench at that point, you were just thinking, oh God,
get me out of this club.
What is going on here?
Simon O'Regan, which players in our squad do you think will still be at the club come the start of the season? Next season, obviously it depends on what division we're in regarding Jack, but I can see Smith having a big clear out in the summer. Callum Smith asked a similar question as well.
I really think if you're out of contract, you've got some problems if you want to stay. I think Adoma might even be out of contract in the summer. I just think we'll clear the deck. Someone said to me that when Dean Smith had his first, because he took over Brentford mid-season, and his first pre-season, apparently he had a big clear out and brought in 18 players in one summer. I don't know how true that is, someone told me that. But, I can see a similar thing happening here.
I don't really mind who goes, as long as we give Micah Richards a new contract. That needs to be resolved.
I know it's bad to say, but I read that thing yesterday, and I'm sure he wants to play football, he just can't. And then there's obviously financial and medical reasons why he can't play, and insurance reasons. And I understand that he has actually been doing some coaching, so it's not like he's sat on his arse doing nothing.
Right.
He's doing coaching with the under-18s, I think, again, what someone told me, is correct. So at least he's having a go at doing something. He's not just sitting there, but I know it's difficult to feel sorry for someone who's on alleged 35 grand a week in the Championship, but I'm sure he would swap that to be able to play. I think it's a shame.
Yeah, I agree to an extent.
He's got a bad knee.
Yeah, so you can't be a footballer.
But the article I read made it sound a bit like, well, Villa couldn't tear up the contract because of their payout to Villa or something, so they've just had to let it.
What was this?
Let it ride. It was in the Telegraph yesterday, last night, or today would have been this morning. I'm surprised you've not got that in the notes.
No, I read it. I read an article about Micah Richards in the summer as a Daily Mail piece, and it was like an advertorial for Micah Richards' services. Obviously, he didn't do very well.
It's a shame, because when he first broke through, he was a good player, and I don't.
Well, when he first broke through for City,
sorry, yeah, he was a good player,
yeah.
And I don't lump him in with the bad eggs like Lescott of the season we went down. To be honest, he didn't play well, but I don't think it was due to lack of effort or anything like that. I just think it just didn't work. Here we go. I've got on Villa Report. Micah Richards is set to retire from football when his contract at Aston Villa expires. Richards has tried hard to overcome long-term knee issues, but has told friends of his intention to call it a day when his Aston Villa contract expires this summer.
More of the Daily Mail, yeah.
It is understood talks last year to allow Richards to become a free agent were undermined because insurance premiums would not cover Villa, who were therefore happy to keep him on the books for the duration of his contract. That's the bit I was talking about.
If that story was anything like the Daily Mail stuff I read in the summer, it's just a puff piece for Micah Richards. And like I agree with you. I'm sure he's frustrated about the way his career's gone because he was such a hot prospect. But he's taken Villa for a ride, and he will retire a happy man.
Right, you say he's taken Villa for a ride. Villa agreed to pay that money.
Totally.
So what's he supposed to do? Would you turn it down?
Well, it's a bit. You could compare it to James Collins, who tore up his contract because he didn't want to be paid.
It's almost like from what that article saying, he can't do that.
Well, of course he can. He could have retired at the end of last year and said, "I'm not going to play anymore. I don't want your money." If he physically can't play, or they renegotiate the contract so that he becomes a coach, an active part of the setup. Again, for a reduced wage, there's definitely things he could do. There's no way that he couldn't accept less money.
Yeah, but people talk like he's an absolute scumbag, and I don't think he is.
I don't agree with that.
It's not like he's been a bad egg in the dressing room either.
He's not been in the dressing room.
He has. I mean, he might not be this season, but I know for a fact he was last season. And he was a good person around the place, and I've heard that from good sources.
How much do you have to pay a good person around the place? Do you know what it is? It's ridiculous. Villa are in a financial bind, or they certainly were, and yet you're talking about him like he's a saviour. He hasn't done anything.
I'm not sat here and saying he's a saviour. I'm just saying that it is what it is. That contract is signed. So if he knows he's not going to play again as well, he's going to think this is my last chance to get paid.
Yeah, I don't think he needs that, though.
However much money you earn is never enough.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
I earn more money now than I did when I started work. Yeah, but I still got no money at the end of the month.
That pales in comparison to what Richards has taken up.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. And
I just think he gets... Admittedly, the move has been an unmitigated disaster from start to finish. Yeah. It's been a disaster. But I just think it's not as black and white as people make it.
There's no doubt that Villa are 80%, 85% at fault for the...
I didn't feel like that was the percentage you were saying.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like you were more of a 50-50 man.
No, it always comes down to the club, but Richards has the capacity, I would think, to have been able to move the goalpost. He's decided not to. That's his right, that's his decision. But when he goes, it'll be good riddance because we don't need him.
Villa over the years... And I think it's coming to an end now.
Wound me up, then.
I've had this mentality of just wasting money, just chucking. I'm not just talking about on the pitch here. Just wasting money, just chucking money at nothing. And that's stopping now. That 100% is stopping. We went down. It's not like we learned many lessons from that because we then. I mean, again, at the time, I was obviously loving life. We're signing all these players in the Championship. Yeah, and that worked. It was a good signing, but ultimately we didn't go up. But we've always just chucked money away. And we've spent a fortune since we've been in the Championship. And it's madness. And finally now, I think the mistakes are like Richards' contract is running out. The mistakes aren't going to be there anymore. Like Gabby was there for years, getting paid for not doing very, very much big money again. But he went last summer. It's finally going to be kind of a clean slate this summer. Right, we're not wasting money anymore.
Yeah.
We're not paying 40 grand to this guy for doing nothing. We're not paying 30 grand to this guy for doing nothing. It's finally going to be a clean house. So if that clean house is in the Championship, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Well,
only time will tell on that one. We will wait and see. But Micah Richards will not be part of that future, which is good. You're right. Cleaning house is the right thing to do. And again, with Nicola Ibbotson coming in, another hopefully professional mindset, we're going to be on the right track one way or the other, Premier League bound or Championship.
God, I'd love us to be on the right track.
Yeah,
it feels like a long time since we were.
Yeah,
even though I did think we were last season, ultimately we weren't. I was wrong.
Yeah, you were, and hopefully,
and you don't just say just me.
We were all wrong.
Okay.
We all went in
for
the ride. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully now under new leadership, this is
difficult as a fan, though, isn't it? Because you just think, I mean, you're not privy to a lot of things, but things are happening, and you think, "Oh, it's exciting." It's good.
Totally, yeah. It's good to get inside. And when Micah Richards first signed, I was pleased with that signing without really knowing.
I feel like I was a little bit sceptical.
I didn't really know the contract details, I don't think, at the time. And as soon as that kind of transpired, it was madness.
If you go back and look at his Fiorentina game record, then maybe some alarm bells should have been ringing.
Really?
That summer's funny now. Well, not ha funny. But if you, I'm laughing. If you look back at it, like Paddy Riley got pelters. The players he brought in have gone elsewhere and been brilliant.
Yeah.
So Veritu, Idrissa Gueye, Amavi, Ayu's still a Premier League player. So you look at it and his signings weren't that bad, really. The ones Tim brought in, he decided not to buy a goalkeeper and went with keeping Ghazi. That was a disaster. I suppose he did bring in Mark Budd. He'll be another one who's probably not here next season.
Yeah.
He brought in Richards, which didn't work. Lescott, who was an absolute car crash. Who else? Gusted, one of the biggest wasters I've ever seen in a Villa shirt. I'd just never warmed to him at all. Who else did we buy? He wanted a Dharma Traore, didn't he?
Yeah.
We never really saw anything from him. Tim Sherwood's signings were a disaster.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times at the Villa.
Wanted Adebayor as well, didn't he? But that fell through.
Oh, yeah,
he was,
we were
even
close.
he was even in the ground. I think I've even seen a picture of him holding the Villa shirt. That shows you how some transfers are weird. I've seen a picture of him holding a Villa shirt. I'm sure I have. And it just never happened. He said that there was some kind of voodoo curse that was telling him not to sign for Villa. I mean, to be fair, we got 17 points. That was a pretty good, whoever that was. I wish they'd come and warn me about things because they gave him a great warning there.
We could do with some future predictions here.
The angel sat on his shoulders, been like, "Don't do this, Emmanuel." They're going down. Yeah.
Well, that's that, isn't it? What a good place to finish.
You want to go, don't you? I can see it's really all over his face.
Do you know what? The Micah Richards things have thrown me. I got unnecessarily
thrown you because
aggressive.
it's not in the notes.
No, it's just because I'll tell you what I was going to say that wasn't in the notes. Thierry Henry got the bullet at Monaco, so that's another one that Villa could have had, and he's out. Two wins in Ligue 1.
Yeah, got some good news.
Okay,
Luke Roper's just come good and picked it. We narrowed it down to 3.
Right.
Shall I reveal the 3 that we narrowed it down to?
Sure.
So we narrowed it down to Alex Withy.
Do you want to just explain what you're talking about?
Oh yeah, that would really help, wouldn't it? Last week we ran a competition to win £100 to spend on Luke Roper gear. So Luke, I sent him. We whittled it down. When I say we, I got Rollo to whittle it down to 3. And we sent them off to Luke Roper. I sent them off to Luke Roper this afternoon, thinking he's completely blanked me here, but he's just come back to me.
Perfect timing.
A busy man, busy man, and he's picked his favourite. So we just asked you to say what you've enjoyed about Luke Roper making Aston Villa's kits. So we narrowed it down to Alex Withy. I think that was on Instagram.
Yep.
Daniel Wayne on YouTube, and Trevor Spence from Twitter. And I can tell you that he said all are amazing.
Well done.
He's enjoyed all of them, but he's picked Trevor Spence.
Trevor Spence
Says, it feels like the club and supporters have a closer connection than ever before when a fan is kitting out the team and fans. I've never thought we lack class. It's a good line, this, but I think we ooze it now with this connection.
Nice one.
A lovely ending.
Nice one, Trev.
So yeah, Trevor, get in touch. I don't think I've got to do anything major in this one, so you should get your prize. Get in touch with either me or Tom or the Villa View on Twitter, I presume, is your media of choice, and we will tell you how you can spend £100.
You'll definitely get it quicker than Nuno Valente.
Maybe go. Yeah, that's going tomorrow, Nuno. You can trust me. That's being sent off tomorrow. And Mr. Aston Villa shirt, you're going to get your shirt back. It's going to be in the post tomorro.
Shocking.
Both in the bag, ready to go.
You are absolutely shocking. Right, call it a day.
Well done, Trevor Spence.
Yeah, well done, Trevor Spence. Good job.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch Kidulthood?
Yeah.
Where the guy's going, Trevor.
I mean, why you felt the need to tell that story.
Trevor.
Is that the one with Noel Clarke in?
Yeah.
I absolutely hate Noel Clarke.
Oh, wow.
I just never like him.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I just don't like him.
Okay.
There's a little story for you.
Yeah. Kidulthood was good, though.
Should just have a quick nod to what you're talking about, things that are good. Mm-hmm. If you want to watch our latest video on the Villa View with myself and the big man, Ian Taylor, chatting about the transfer window, chatting about the current Aston Villa landscape, then that's on our YouTube channel at the moment. We also have a little game of Aston Villa Guess Who. Absolute nightmare to build, but we're giving away that board game. So if you want to win that, go in and watch the end of that video, and I explain how. Really hard to assemble. It's a good job my dad was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me and Rollo were struggling.
Your dad came into his own.
Yeah, I mean, I was the least helpful of the three of us. You'll be surprised to learn.
Yeah, not surprising.
But yeah, good job dad was there.
Good, yeah, so there's that content. There'll obviously be a preview for the Reading game.
Yes.
You and Dolan are going to the Reading game?
Me and Dolan are going on Saturday, yeah, getting the early train up. So, up or down, not sure which way it is.
I think it's just west, isn't it?
Getting the early train west to Reading. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully see some people that watch and listen to the Villa View.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Take it away, Thomas.
Thank you so much for watching, for listening. If you have liked what you've watched or listened, it's been a bit rambly tonight, but we've got there.
I do feel like today's been all over the place, to be fair. Mainly because of me.
Yeah. Well, no, I think both of us. The rain's throwing me.
Kind of.
Make sure you are subscribed with your post notifications on if you are watching on YouTube. If you'd like to leave us a little iTunes review, that will be good. That's always helpful and nice to read. We'll read some more of those in the international break, I think.
I think we've been saying that for about 5 international breaks now.
Yeah, that's true. It's just a lure. It's just a lure in.
Yeah,
make sure you go and watch the Ian Taylor stuff because it is good content and you can win that Guess Who set.
Lots of prizes at the moment. Lots of prizes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's nice. And as I say, there'll be a preview and a match reaction, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll be back with the podcast next week.
Yes.
So if you are going to Reading, safe journey, enjoy, and we'll see you next week up the Villa.
You're dropped next week, aren't you?
Oh, am I?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, cold-blooded. See you later.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.